Hello colleagues, I hope you enjoyed the wild ride of the first section of this incredible novel. As you'll find out by the time you get to the end of it, though it may be a little frustrating in the initial difficult sections, this is a work of incredible genius that you're just going to be blown away by. In this first little mini lecture, I'm going to talk about the Compson Appendix, which I asked you to read first. Now, the novel, as you know, is written in 1929, and Faulkner wrote the appendix in 1945, 16 years later. His intention was to clear up some of the details of the story he'd only alluded to as blanks and absences in the original novel. He talks, when people ask him about The Sound and the Fury, about the four sections of the novel as telling the same story 4 times over. And then this appendix grows into something like the 5th time he tells the story. He actually wrote it for Malcolm Cowley when Malcolm Cowley, the editor, was putting together a book called The Portable Faulkner. And this is what he says to Cowley. He says, "I should have done this," meaning the appendix, "when I wrote the book. Then the whole thing would have fallen into pattern like a jigsaw puzzle when the magician's wand touched it." Later on he wrote, "When you read the appendix, you will see how it's the key to the whole book. And after reading it, the 4 sections as they stand now fall into clarity and place." I'll also give you a quote from an interview Faulkner gave in the 1950s, when the interviewer asked him simply, how did The Sound and the Fury begin? He says this, I had already begun to tell it through the eyes of the idiot child. I tried to tell it again, the same story, through the eyes of another brother. That was still not it. I told it for the 3rd time through the eyes of the 3rd brother. That was still not it. I tried to gather the pieces together and fill in the gaps by making myself the spokesman. It was still not complete, not until 15 years after the book was published, when I wrote as an appendix to another book the final effort to get the story told and off my mind so that I myself could have some peace from it.